Thank you very much, Puckett. Yes, FaZe really batting down the hatches now. Yeah. And from EnVyUs, the haymakers just keep coming. They appear to be both stacked and nutty, and FaZe haven't come up with a response to them on these first two maps.
It just seems like Envy can run whatever they want. Like, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what the other team does. Whatever they want to pick, they can make.
That's our analysis, right?
It just seems like that's the way it is. I mean, they want to run Junkrat on some maps, great. They want to run Widowmaker.
You boys, you do.
Just do you. I mean, they've been so good throughout their entirety in Overwatch, like from the beginning. I mean, they've been great. They've been great. FaZe Clan, though, they'll take this to map number 3. It'll be the Temple of Anubis.
Boom.
Coming up next, this is a map that obviously was not in the regular season pool.
Much
so
like Hollywood?
You kind of look a lot like Hollywood. You look at this as maybe kind of a curveball into Envy, see how they play on this one.
It's FaZe Clan teetering on the precipice now of a very disappointing exit here from the North American Overwatch contenders, and of course EnVyUs now. It's time to put one more nail in the coffin, and that will get them to match and tournament and championship point. EnVyUs have been such a dominant team all year, but now it's time for them to actually solidify that with a title. And the Temple of Anubis may be the next step on the road for them here.
You fully expect FaZe on the offensive end to go with what got them here. Now their dive. You're going to see Shadowburn on the Genji, Carpe on the Tracer. It's just what will Envy do on defense? I know we've seen, it really just kind of comes down to Taimu and I guess Mickey to an extent, right? We saw him play Torbjorn for about 3 seconds on Hollywood before it was broken through rather quickly. But I don't really know if you can pin that on Mickey. It was really kind of Harry up top who gets taken out rather instantly.
Okay, so obviously the reason why we even see things like Zaya and especially things like the Hanzo on Hollywood is because it's quite easy to actually identify and get picks on that map, because the defensive team is forced to take suboptimal positioning quite often unless they want to sit inside a cafe and give up a lot of ground. This particular map though, a defensive team can obscure themselves and break line of sight to enemy snipers fairly comfortably. Temple of Anubis, to get in there, you very much need to take the fight to the enemy team. Not saying this doesn't suit FaZe, of course. I mean,
just think about the position that Harry was in. He literally had no time to react to Carpe. I mean, Carpe, Monty put it up in the replay, just goes right up the wall, scatter arrow. There's no way he can even react to that. Probably a little bit out of position, but we'll see what Envy decides to do here on defense. It looks like you may see the Mercy here out of Chips. Looks like Effect will be running the 76, and you have Taimu on the Junkrat. We'll see what FaZe decides to do here on offense, though, as Shadowbird, he has, trusted Genji out, Carpe with the Tracer. You imagine Fact Fiction, yep, he's going to go over to Winston. So pretty standard comp here coming out of FaZe Clan.
This is actually quite curious because Chips now on this Mercy pick has much less safety than as if you were pocketing a Pharah, for example. For him to gain altitude, he can't really just use Guardian Angel to an airborne ally to do so unless Taimu sort of pops off literally up into the air. We'll see if that's going to be the case, but Taimu's in a great position to do a heck of a lot of damage. Fact Fiction is forced to drop his bubble really short of the point. So it's going to be a slow sequential approach from FaZe to try and take ground bit by bit.
Well, you can also use the Mercy to damage boost the Junkrat, right? Do even more damage. You see Taimu with 2 kills there in the feed. He takes out Joe Meister, takes out Carpe as a mine to the face of Joe Meister. Saw the assist coming in from Chip, so you assume the damage boost is there. So see, that's how they most likely use the Mercy in this type of composition, and then also obviously for the heals.
It was a very tentative foray for FaZe Clan as well. They probably wanted to get an idea of positioning, what EnVyUs were going to be running. Obviously, it's rather self-evident that the enemy's running a Junkrat. You just kind of look for the shrapnel flying around the map. But now they kind of know what they're dealing with. So the question is, how does Fact Fiction choose to engage, or where, for that matter, does he choose to engage? Mickey, a frontliner here, and Coco also just going to try and get up in the air a little bit more, but Shadowburn pressuring down on him. He's easily picked off, and the rest of EnVyUs weren't there to collapse, so that was an interesting response from the boys in blue to the fact that their tank was playing quite far forward.
Yeah, you don't know why Coco's all the way out in that position. It'll be the tempo res coming in, Chips bringing Coco back. It'll be Taimu using the tire. Doesn't get anything with it. He'll take out Raucus, though. This Envy stays in the fight. That's a big res coming in from Chips, bringing Coco back.
Yeah, I mean, remember, Chips and Taimu are inextricably linked in terms of their ultimate generation by the damage that Taimu does, right? So obviously Chips benefits more the more Taimu does, and it follows so on and so forth. So having a resurrect so early in this is unbelievable, and you can see that Chips was more than happy just to use it just to keep his team at full strength and get Coco back up on his feet. The FaZe Clan have to find another approach here.
Yeah, with the small chokes, I mean, Taimu is going to get damage. It's just a matter of when and where. So, you see Chips just committing, using the damage boost. It'll be the Raucus using Transcendence here, trying to lead the way, just get FaZe close to the point.
Again, damage boosted. I mean, this is pretty BM, if I'm honest with you here. Timeo has an easy time of it just to sit up. Spree definitely sidestepped the trap that was placed down to try and catch him, but Effect now being forced back into the room. The healing from Chips, though, is there. He's getting more ultimate percentage. He's at 75%. That's nice from Spree, though. That's going to thin out the numbers for EnVyUs on this point. This is probably going to provoke them just to pull back now and think about setting up for that second point defense. Chips didn't quite get his resurrect when he needed it to keep EnVyUs running in the fight.
Yeah, they used the Transcendence to get in, and then you saw it from Taimu's POV. A lot of pressure being put up top by Shadowburn and Spree onto Effect. He was up there on the high ground with the 76. He switches off the 76. He'll go over to Tracer here as FaZe Clan. They take point A. They unlock point B here. Chips also making the change. He'll go off of Mercy. He'll go over and play the Sombra for Envy.
Again, that middle health pack in the moat, as I like to call it, or that little lower ground area is often quite heavily contested, especially for an attacking team that wants to keep themselves sustained coming forward. So it's a pretty prime location to hack. It's also going to be frequently used. Losing Effect at this stage of the game is not very good at all. Whoa, FaZe Clan, they've made an opening here. 2 quick kills, the Transcenders to follow up, just to give them a bit more security coming forward. Shadowburn also had the Dragonblade ready to go, but he may not even need it here. That EMP was not required.
Yeah, and Harry is forced to use the sound barrier. Only connects to 2 players there. It's going to be the Riptire from Taimu, though. May spell disaster here for FaZe Clan. Takes out Shadowburn, not going to have the blade in the fight. The self-destruct comes down. Spree getting back in his mech. See FaZe Clan, they're going to be forced to back up. It's a big Riptire there coming out from Taimu.
And a big investment from FaZe Clan as well in trying to start that fight. You saw the Transcendence followed in. Now, Raucus wants to make a switch up here. Going for the Ana, he does realize that these Junkrat grenades are going to chunk his team down very quickly. FaZe have no choice but to follow one of 3, ingress points to get to the temple itself. They are going to take AoE damage from Taimu. They are going to have to remediate that rapidly with a biotic grenade.
Yeah, but now you're going to put a lot of pressure on Joemeister because your only support ult in terms of sustain is going to be the sound barrier. The other team has the EMP on the other side, so we'll see. When he decides to use that sound barrier, you're going to have to keep forcing this EMP out time and time again. We see just having that threat of the EMP allows your team to build up so many ultimates. There goes Joemeister at the hands of Effect with a pulse bomb there. That close quarters part of the map as see Spree gonna be forced to back up here, and it's gonna be Carpe using the pulse bomb there onto Effect, but you have to back out anyway. It doesn't really do much.
It's actually very rare to see that even occur. It remains to be seen for us whether that was actually stuck, but normally you never target a Tracer with a pulse bomb because okay, if he's got recall, this is literally a wasted ultimate. This is gonna phase out of existence, but managed to get him with that one, so that's nice. I also like Raucus to switch just to double back on that point. Switch off the Zenyatta, make yourself less susceptible to Sombra popping down and tearing your shield off.
Oh, insta-killing you, pretty much. Just taking
HP
you
ain't a lot.
So we'll see Carpe. What him and FaZe Clan decide to do here on offense. That'll be the Primal Rage coming out from Coco. Just knocking players around. He gets put to sleep here by Raucus, and now Raucus gonna get close to a Nano Boost. Maybe you see a Nano Blade combination here.
That will be good. Shadowburn, we've seen it use that to break open fights in the past, and EnVyUs has been tough nuts to crack thus far. That might be just what the Doctor ordered. Carpe, just a bit of poke damage for the time being. Biotic grenade, very well used there by Raucus. He's had a huge contribution in the last few moments, and you better believe it, man, it is going to be the nano bait for Shadowburn. He only finds Harry hooked, though, in the process, and Spree gets himself desuited. Self-destruct at the lower levels, and Taimu comes in again. It's a 2-man Riptire. Mickey to find Shadowburn. Another big investment of ultimates from both sides, but it's FaZe Clan with nothing to show.
Taimu again with a Riptire. Chips actually used the EMP there. He didn't connect with anybody. Everybody's still able to hold on to these shields, so Joemeister does a nice job staying out of harm's way. Does not stay out of harm's way from the Riptire, though. Takes out Joemeister and Spree. That's where the push ends for FaZe Clan. They do get a lot of ults out from the side of EnVyUs. You see Envy has absolutely nothing coming into this next fight. FaZe will have a self-destruct to use both of your support ults, though. So you don't really have much on their side either.
Again, it's the raw stopping power of EnVyUs that continues to impress me. FaZe Clan were on a pretty good trajectory, actually, to have a quick time on this map. Their first attempt at taking this point was actually very close. But someone like Taimu, he can, cut you from 6 to 4 players in the blink of an eye. That's always going to be very, very hard to either predict and also to work around. Chips getting close to yet another EMP. One of the first proponents of Sombra in the West, by the way, and showed us some very, very good play, especially over in Apex for EnVyUs. He's got an EMP now. He's hoping FaZe are going to group up.
With only a minute and 30 to go, FaZe needs to make a play. They take out 2. Chips trying to stay alive on the point. Gonna have to translocate back out here. The point will still be contested here by Mickey and Coco. Coco does have the Primal Rage. There's the EMP. connects with a few players, some FaZe clan. FaZe now forced to back out.
Yeah, and that was well done by Chips. You know, from our view, it actually looked like that fight was very much in the balance, but after having just lost Mickey's mech, it was good timing for Chips there, just to try and tip the balance in their favor.
Okay, so now here's FaZe's probably best attempt here. Coming towards the end of the game, you'll have a Dragon Blade, you'll have Nano Boost, you have Sound Barrier. You just saw the EMP come out from Chips. Harry Hook does not have the Sound Barrier. It's still that Riptire though for EnVy. That's really been what's kind of kept them alive, as FaZe has gotten some really good attempts on the point. Here comes the Sound Barrier from Joe Meister. It's a Pulse Bomb from Effect, doesn't get anything. Oh, that's a lot of pressure being put on the time move here from Back Fiction. He's going to force it back up to the spawn, regen some health.
Very worthwhile trade there. Primal Rage for Riptire. That's nicely done by Back Fiction to force it out, and Shadowbird's going to come straight through. Timing is cut down, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Effect also was going to fall next to Shadowbird, coming in with it. 4 kills, that's a big one, no doubt about it. You definitely know you can invest in that player when push comes to shove. FaZe fan control the point now, well and truly. Mickey's also cut down briefly after Rexing his mech. And you can see Timey's trying to work in from the left off screen. A quick jump out here from Coco, realizes he's bit off a little bit more than he can chew. It's the final seconds of regulation time. And Chips is trying to huddle together for timing for warmth or something other than that. But it isn't going to matter. It's not going to do the job. Again, Chips enters the point. It's going to be a translocator thrown directly up in the air. But he has no EMP to follow it up. Point taken. FaZe get it done. In the nick of time. And
the only ult that EnVy was close to there at the end was their Sound Barrier. 100% Harry Hook earns it. We saw it a little bit on that free cam where it was that left-hand side. You saw Taimu playing there with Chips and Harry. They were just waiting, maybe trying to stay alive long enough to get a Sound Barrier connected on the 3 of them. Then you have the Titans come from the other side. It'll stay alive a little bit longer. What happens as soon as Harry earns the Sound Barrier, Shadowburn dashes right through him, takes him out, never able to get a good use of it.
And now for EnVyUs. Again, any time in the bank, if they finish, assuming they finish this map, is going to work very well in their favor. FaZe Clan just flat out don't have any left. They now need to stop EnVy short of finishing the map at all. And that's tough. I mean, we saw the stopping power that EnVy could provide. They did it for many, many minutes. I love how they just changed the pace of the game and you sort of made it on their terms. That Junkrat from Timing was also quite hard to deal with. And credit to him, because playing that defensively is not always easy. You're obviously trying to spam down chokes, but you're also susceptible from multiple angles, especially a player like Carpe, who's got a big target on your back.
Yeah, it was very well played, I thought, by FaZe Clan towards the end there, especially Joe Meister. I mean, even with the EMP on Chips, no, he made good use of the Sound Barrier. Never kind of got caught in the EMP. They forced the EMP out, and they were able to get good use of their Sound Barriers. So, good place, really all weekend from the supports from FaZe Clan. Looks like Raucus will be running the Sombra on defense. We saw him running yesterday. They talked a little bit about it on the desk, how good he's been on this hero. I'm wondering, though, how they deal. If Taimu runs the Widowmaker, how they deal with it this time. Do they send Spree after him? Do you send, Fact Fiction and Shadowburn? A combination of
how much is
these players. How much is enough? Because, I mean, what they could do, at least here at the beginning, it's interesting what they're running EnVy. You have Chips on the Zen. Okay, no, Harry's going to go over to Lucio. Looks like they're going to be running Mickey on the Diva. Okay, I was going to say, you would not have Mickey on Ryan and Coco on Winston. That would be quite odd.
Still getting trolled by EnVyUs, Matt. What's going on?
Well, I mean, who knows what they're going to run, right? At any moment, we've seen just different setups from them. Now I think the thing you have to worry about is, like, let's say they push up the middle, which you see them do. It opens up a ton of space for Taimu.
This is so uncharacteristic as well. You see Taimu's not afraid at all to move right up in. Now, FaZe won't be ready for this particular angle. Taimu, astutely, always watching his back. But see, Fact Fiction wouldn't be set up there if he knew there was a Widow present. So now, this position is quite compromising, but FaZe finds the pick. That's all they need to do. If they can commit just the one player, just the one passage to play in, that's worthwhile. But again, this is what happens. EnVyUs able to fight back and make this fight convincing.
Yeah, you lose some players on the point. Effect here. He's getting hacked, uses the recoil. Now he's just trying to stay alive. He finally gets hacked, takes out Shadowburn. See if the reinforcements come through for EnVy. So, Chips on the Sombra, trying to get control of that health pack. You maybe deny Raucus some access, deny him some build towards that EMP.
Right, so flat out, they obviously need to spread as much as possible. And bear in mind, we don't make it. Oh, there's Raucus. He goes down with an EMP as well. You cannot allow that to happen. I don't know how Raucus allowed himself to be seen by the Widow. That's a big shift in momentum now in this particular fight. Harry drops the point. Time eventually goes down. So again, FaZe are responding at least to that big threat. But still, EnVy now are on the point. They've gained ground. Now they're pressuring down FaZe.
Well, you die with the EMP. You also, because it just, obviously you're going to go back to the spawn. It takes a while to get back. You're going to allow Chips to gain some access towards these health packs. You're maybe even force a switch off here as the Effect takes out Shadowburn. Looks like EnVy will take point A. They're going to build up some ultimates as well. You'll have the Primal Rage. You'll have the Self-Destruct. be effect with a pulse bomb as well. Raucus, you're going to stay on this. The EMP so good for point B. Obviously, the close quarters chokes that you have to move through can connect with a lot of players.
But I love that we have a Sombra mirror now. So both these two teams are going to be fighting over a number of different health packs. And Chips has already made his way forward. They're on the point. They might even get one tick. So FaZe are now going to be pulled back, maybe even split up. Carpe, the headshot from Chips. He picks him off. That might be the opening day we're looking for. Is a self-destruct and a primal rage for EnVyUs. In fact, Fiction hastily tries to even the ledger, but Taimu's there. He's got a lot of ground. Look how much space they've created for this Widowmaker. No one on FaZe can deal with him right now. Chips, Taimu with yet another one. EnVyUs have taken FaZe Clan to task. It is the Jenga tower. They're falling apart, not brick by brick, but the whole damn thing at once.
And there's going to be the EMP that comes in from Chips. You're not going to be able to use those ults, so no primal rage coming through. No self-destructs from Spree just yet. Is Envy. Taimu's going to get pressured. Nice. That was nice there from Carpe. See, a switch is going to be effect going over to the Reaper, trying to combat that Sombra play. Takes out Carpe. It'll be Coco still on the point, trying to keep this alive for Envy.
Yeah, the pressure being applied. Envy haven't actually gained that much of capture percent in the last few moments. And it definitely looked like it was going to be a fight heavily slanted in EnVyUs' favor, but it wasn't enough of a distinct advantage. If you want to take this point, given how close the defenders spawn, it has to be very convincing. It has to be like a clean wipe, which is why we see so many teams bank up ultimates, which also might explain why we're seeing effect here. Not only is an EMP or a hack not so effective against Reaper, he's also very, very good at mass destruction.
But Envy, they thought they had a great chance of taking that. They used a ton of ultimates. FaZe Clan Shadowburn specifically holds on to the blade. You hold on to Primal Rage, you're able to build up your own sound barrier in EMP. There comes the EMP from Raucus. Chip switches off of the Sombra, goes over to Ana as Taimu takes out Joe Meister, but still you're forced to back up. Shadowburn now pulls the blade out, trying to swing the fight back in FaZe's favor.
So this is EnVyUs, they're happy with this. They're forcing ultimates out from FaZe Clan. FaZe don't want this to happen. They actually want to be able to sit back and just have 6 and then ration them and drip feed ultimates into the fight, allow them to maintain control at this point. But because EnVyUs already have that one tick on the point, and if they get a pick to start the fight off, this is why Widow's so good at provoking maybe, premature or slightly frivolous defensive ult usage on a team that's already under pressure. EnVyUs really can sort of decide where FaZe Clan goes with this now. It's kind of up to them to dictate the flow of the game.
And the big thing here for Envy is if they can get a pick and then move on to the point, now give Taimu that space on the Widow, it forces FaZe Clan to play in these odd sight lines. They can't really go out into the middle of the point to fight because it's going to be so much free damage Taimu's going to be able to put down.
Coco now back at the point. Primal Rage available for him, and that's going to be a sound barrier used here for FaZe Clan. It's going to try and keep them topped up for the rest of this fight, and it seems to have done the job. Again, EnVyUs, they wanted this. They want to draw these ultimates out. Now there's no EMP. Now there's no sound barrier.
You did use your own sound barrier and a nano boost there for Envy, though.
That is true.
You do come into the next fight, though. Primal Rage, Death Blossom, and Self-Destruct. We'll see how they make those ults work in their favor. We can get a replay here. Here's going to be the EMP that comes in from Raucus. Negates the effects of the sound barrier as Envy pushed in. Using that Lucio ult as now it'll be Envy diving right to the point.
They don't really mess about, do they? Going straight in. The problem is Tips has been separated from the rest of his team, but Harry Hook here, ever a brother in arms, is defending that Ana. And all that investment, FaZe Clan has already lost Carpe in the fight. It was the Death Blossom that picked up the Tracer, trying to sneak around the edges of the fight. Reaper forces you to stand and deliver, and that's exactly where he excels in the fight. Chips now trying to maintain a little bit of a health pull here. EMP was used there by Raw because that was awfully quickly generated.
Yeah, I mean, now if Envy loses this fight, you look, they have a sound barrier coming into the next one. This is where they could use that ult, just kind of go over that wall, lead the way with Reaper, use him as almost like a battering ram, just kind of mow him down through the tanks here.
Oh dear, that's gonna hurt the morning, Raucus.
Why do they keep going after him like that?
Hubris?
Have they not figured it out yet?
The folly of man? I don't know.
It'll be a pick there from Taimu. We'll see Raucus get back into the equation though here. Joe Meister getting close towards his sound barrier as well. So you see Chips land a bionic grenade there as Envy now trying to get their way towards the point. They catch Carpe here at the beginning. They're going to put Spree to sleep, and now it's going to be the blade, though, that comes out from Shadowburn, may save him.
Now, got a lot of room to do damage there as well as a hacked health pack, though, to keep Shadowburn nice and topped up. Chips kind of got caught again. He thought he could just get free damage into the back of Spree and didn't realize that Shadowburn was bearing down upon him on a rate of knots. So this is interesting though. Mickey's find another kill. He's going to get decent now, but a self-destruct is going to force movement off the point. This is going to allow Effect to set up and do a bit of breakdancing on the point. Nicely done. And guess what? Taimu, ever in the periphery, ever the aggressor, finds yet another kill, and Effect was so close, but that's a clever bubble thrown down by Fact Fiction. But Taimu is still in control. He's at the helm right now, and every time someone from FaZe peeks out, they're going to be in trouble. It's 2 ticks looking for that third one. EnVyUs still with a minute and a half in the bank, and FaZe are scrabbling to try and get on this point.
Yeah, Chips is going to use the nano boost onto Coco. Raucus was forced to use his EMP a little bit earlier. Joe Meister then had to come in, use the sound barrier, I believe only connected with himself, as Envy just picking up the kills here, still on the point, Mitch. They will take it with a minute and 11 in the time bank.
The stage is set for EnVyUs to continue their dominance in this series, and in fact in the entire season. They have time in the bank, their foes do not. One thing remains on this particular map. Envy must get one tick, 33% on the first point, point A, as it were. They'll take this map in a 3-0. That's got to be crushing for this FaZe Clan team. They believe they knew what they were going up against. They believe they had the tools to deal with everything that Envy was throwing at them, but like again, they're playing checkers. Envy, 4D underwater chess. Throwing shapes, as Bren would put it.
Yeah, Bren has said a lot of things throughout Contenders that I really haven't understood. Throwing shapes is about the only one I understand. Evidently it means dance moves, but do we see FaZe Clan switch up anything here? No, it's really been the Widowmaker of Taimu that has like thrown them for a loop. They have not been able to adjust, they take him out easily. They've had to use a ton of resources to even make it happen.
There's two ways.
Change something up here.
Yeah, there's two ways you can play around dealing with the Widowmaker, right? This is one way of doing it, where you sort of break line of sight, but situate yourself close to the point that you can dive. The other is actually just giving ground on the point and hiding in like a side room and waiting for the enemy to come to you. So I guess there's a reactive and a proactive way of playing it. This is generally fine, but FaZe Clan walk a fine line. If you play so aggressively on defense, it's a long walk back from spawn, so EnVyUs can trade 1 for 1 and still feel good about that here.
Yeah, I mean, you trade 1 for 1, like you're saying, with the offensive team spawning relatively closer here on Anubis. You can make a play happen as Envy dives in first. Carpe will take out Chips, but just trying to get some bodies on the point. Will be 2 kills, both supports dropping here for EnVyUs. Taimu trying to connect with some kills here. The point still being capped. FaZe has to be very careful here as Envy steps off it for a second. All they need is 1 tick.
Yeah, and this is good. EnVyUs are short on time, so FaZe do not want to kill Mickey at all. They're better off actually forcing him to try and charge up his mech with the Bunny Blaster than sending him back to spawn, having him return. That's nicely done. Spree there. He's going to get D-Mech. That might be big. That time he's got a bit of room to breathe now. Not only is Spree down in general, but there's no defense matrix to mitigate the damage from long range, and that's where it's Shadowburn's turn to come in, and he's done admirably there. Carpe and Shadowburn, the DPS duo for FaZe, have whittled EnVyUs down. And now it's 15 seconds. One more push for EnVyUs to take this to the last map.
Yeah, EnVyUs just gonna have to jump onto the point here, try and send this one into overtime. You see Raucus just trying to get behind enemy lines. They're gonna have to send Coco in over the top. Carpe getting very close towards a pulse bomb.
Overtime now. Shadowburn's actually being corralled for the most part by Harry Hillcock towards the side. Joe Meister goes down. So Chips has found that pick, though. It's still a 2 for 1 trade. And no, FaZe Clan are looking pretty good. They're holding in the heat admirably. And so far, it's just going to be Effect now to try and do all the work. He actually finds one. He's going to be Shadowburn falling down. Is this going to turn around? Surely not. Discord Orb's going to be placed on Fact Fiction here. He's got the primal range. But EnVyUs, they spawn closer. They've got a man advantage. We're in overtime. It doesn't seem to matter. FaZe Clan, where are you at? They disappeared. Rock is trying to keep it low. He manages to get down towards the point, and Chips is taken down. Coco very rapidly going to get back on a sound barrier, hastily employed by Joe Meister now. 2 players on the point. Sound barrier now expiring. Mickey staying alive. Taimu has all the freedom to do damage from that bridge up on the high ground. Raucus is forced to translocate out. Carpe's got to get the heck out of there. It may be a struggle here for Shadowburn, who's so low. The testing up's going to find him. It's still overtime. It's done. EnVyUs get there. That is frightening.
How the hell is Carpe alive? Effect alive, he's alive for so long. He's able to stay alive on the point. He had Chips and Harry there. Oh man, for a while we're watching from the free cam, and it's just, Fact Fiction and Spree there for FaZe Clan. Effect's just darting in and out. You see the supports coming through underneath the bridge there for Envy. Holy hell.
Here's to play the game though. Shadowburn, can I just say, definitely the linchpin here for the side of FaZe Clan. The Nanoblade obviously coming up clutch, and they did a very good job defending for as long as they did. And that attack, of course, getting it in the final moments. But, okay, so we're going to get some context to this as well, because obviously we're getting excited. It doesn't take much to get me excited, but that was impressive stuff. Route 66 is going to be around the corner. There will be a player swap as well for EnVyUs. I think you know exactly what that means. And it might be time for them to get the job done. But obviously, look, attackers on that particular point, they do spawn a little bit closer. The pressure was being applied very, very admirably Those are the moments that come down to the 1v1s, the 2v2s. Ladies and gentlemen, I can hear you out there. I hope you can still hear me. I'm losing my voice, but I'm loving this stuff. Make some more noise. Maybe one more map to go. Will EnVyUs close it out? That's the big question. Route 66 may well be where it all ends.
That is a back-breaking loss there for FaZe Clan. They thought they had it. Effect just able to dance around on the point. Towards the end there, I mean, you saw Shadowburn comes in with the blade. It's like maybe he's able to just kind of make a hero play. Just not able to do it. Looks like we are getting the sub here for EnVy, so you expect, I know it's going to be Seagull coming in. It looks like he will take the spot of Mickey here on.
It's not like we're going to sub in Tasmo, were they, mate?
No. You would not put Tasmo in.
No shade.
No shade, but you wouldn't put him in.
No. Okay, so going to Route 66 now, again, we've seen quite a few maps actually in this particular series we haven't seen. That's going to be very interesting. We're going to discuss it after a very short break. When we come back, it may well be where it all ends here for the North American Overwatch Contenders Finals, ladies and gentlemen. Stick around, you do not want to miss it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the true measure of a champion in esports, and especially Overwatch, is the ability to pick yourself up when you're down at such a deficit. But it looks like FaZe Clan might be looking at a repeat of that MLG Vegas final to struggle, of course, up against EnVy for the second time now.
I was just going to say, this has all the makings of a same exact scenario as MLG Vegas. And we'll close things out potentially on Route 66. That'll be map number 4. Like we talked about before the break, it'll be Seagull coming in for Mickey on the side of EnVyUs. So we'll see what they decide to throw at FaZe Clan here on Route 66. But if FaZe was going to get a map win, I think it needed to happen there on Anubis.
And it could, and it should have, to be honest. Yeah. At least a draw.
At least a draw.
Ladies and gentlemen, for what may well be the last time here in Contenders, put your hands together, make some noise. It's time to go to Route 66. And there's so much to play for. I mean, we followed this FaZe team through so many ups and downs and different permutations of this roster. Rawhide looking for so many inclusions that they could make. Obviously bringing Carpe in now as the Korean contingent in this team. I mean, they're looking down the face of the nemesis with the exact same inclusion. Affecting Carpe has highlighted this matchup from start to where we are now. And I'd love to see that Widowmaker out on attack. Wouldn't be surprised either.
And look, FaZe Clan has been very good throughout the season. You know, they were great yesterday outside of their first map. It's just the things that EnVy has thrown at them, they have not adjusted to well. So it looks like Seagull will be playing the Diva here on defense. So
this is something. This really is something.
We'll get to see Seagull on a hero other than Pharah, which, who knows? I mean, maybe if you're EnVy, right, you sub in Seagull, and now you get FaZe Clan thinking, like, well, are they going to run Pharah? Like, do they run Zarya? Like, what do they run?
It's possible. It's possible. Also bear in mind as well that, okay, if you want, like, your Diva specialist, you probably do take Mickey, but they have the flexibility to put Seagull on any of the
I think it's more for the offensive side.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's map by map, of course, not side by side. God helps in that case. Rawhide, let's go! 3 minutes, 52 seconds. FaZe Clan need to get to that first checkpoint. Look, Carpe here on the Widowmaker. Seagull going to make it hard for him to connect. And honestly, EnVyUs' DPSs are going to be quite sneaky and hard for Carpe to dig out of their defensive positions.
Yeah, Taimo is going to be playing the Sombra here. Just keeps going behind enemy lines, putting a ton of damage down, and just translocating back, just trying to build towards that EMP. Then you're worried about Taimo on the Sombra, effects there on the Tracer. It's Carpe just trying to find something here. You saw him there on the payload for a second, just trying to line up some shots here. He's going to keep getting dove back further and further here by Coco.
Carpe again. There's a respectful distance that needs to be given. Chips is able to pick off Shadowburn here as well, who was probably just trying to find a target that he could eliminate quickly. Unfortunately, that's not really the case here. EnVyUs have sort of, collapsed on themselves, and they've got this very protected structure. Coco comes forward there. We saw that EMP come out already from Taimo, and you can see FaZe only half-heartedly attempting to fight, but with Spree getting desuited here, they're still going to try and work with this payload.
So Taimo had used the EMP. He's going to build up towards another one here. It's not really, I mean, you kind of use Sombra as a secondary support, but this time they'll play Sombra as a DPS, because you keep the Zenyatta, you keep the Lucio in the mix as Backfiction, just trying to put a lot of pressure on the back line there. He's going to be able to take out Taimo.
Really nicely done by Backfiction there as well. He has to give his life up for that one, and that's the problem. Every time we see Backfiction achieve these pickoffs, it's always traded out in a negative way. It's always EnVyUs getting more than what FaZe were able to do. Carpe struggling to have an impact in this fight. Again, that hairpin turn is obscuring much of his line of sight. But that disengage from EnVyUs was so nice. You see they backed up right around behind Big L's. They were ready to deal with the push, and that's why, in fact, Fishing got burst down so fast. They're just covering each other's backs very well.
He also gets burst down so quick because Spree does not even have his mech back, so he's not able to just kind of fly in there, use the defense matrix, kind of dive in with his Winston. So Backfiction gives up his life there, gets one kill. And they get back, kind of reset here, as now we'll see another attack coming in from FaZe Clan as Carpe switches off the Widowmaker, go over the Tracer, and, well, Effect instantly takes him down.
They got vaporized. That's nasty. You can see the Backfiction knows he has to go now, try and back away. Effect is actually harassing now Raucus, has to be careful. The EMP used, perhaps it was just in case Effect would get caught, but now EnVyUs want to snowball this fight further in their advantage. Effect does commit the pulse bomb. He and Taimo combining for 3 kills in total. And FaZe Clan, again, told to sit in the corner and wait their turn.
Now for FaZe Clan, you have both support ults here, you have your Blade. Envy, though, they have both support ults as well, so I guess this is kind of the benefit of playing those Sombra as more of a DPS as opposed to a support, right? You keep your Transcendence, you keep your Sound Barrier, you also earn the benefits of having the EMP at your disposal to stop a Sound Barrier that comes in. It'll be the Sound Barrier from Joe Meister. Interesting, doesn't connect with Shadowburn, so not going to engage with that Blade and Sound Barrier combo.
And Transcendence is going to be forced here, so that's nicely done by Backfiction to sort of draw that now out of Chips. He had no other choice but to go for it. Looks like Raucus actually went for the same kind of move. Yep, double Transcendence committed over the fight, and that's Effect to fall down. Self-destruct finds Carpe, both Tracers. These teams are so neck and neck. The trades are literally 1 for 1, but now again, EnVyUs start to exercise a bit more dominance over the fight. Taimo backing on away. EnVyUs know they've done enough here to keep FaZe playing at bay for the most part. FaZe need to get aggressive. 43 seconds is not a lot of time to work with at all.
Yeah, Spree will use the self-destruct to get a mech back here. It's Coco backs down a little bit. Effect here working up towards a pulse bomb. Taimo working towards another EMP. Chips actually goes back to the spawn, off the spawn. He switches over to the 76. They're going for it here. Effect thought about the pulse bomb there. There's going to be the EMP coming out from Taimo.
That's devastating everyone. It's like the white 2K bug all over again, except actually existing. Back up on the payload there. The pulse bomb connects with Backfiction. That's his second consecutive successful pick-off with the use of that ultimate. And FaZe Clan got nothing. They got nothing. There's 10 seconds left here, and they've hardly made progress. They're going to be so staggered they can barely get to the payload. They're forced into stall already. Shadowburn has a Dragon Blade, but it don't matter how sharp it is if there's nothing to slice. Backfiction desperately throws himself at the payload. He's going to be forced to back away. He's actually kept alive. A bit of an error there from EnVyUs not to get the extra bit of damage across, but now they're going to stagger in 1 by 1. Joe Meister pushed off. Overtime ticking down. FaZe have got to go. Dragon Blade coming through. Sound Barrier for Shadowburn. What's going on inside Big L's? Who knows? We'll see what comes out the other end, though. Raucus drops. It's a pulse bomb there. Again, the trade. Yet another EMP. This is ridiculous. Taimo getting another one down, but it might not be enough. It's not backed up with a lot of damage here, and FaZe might make some progress towards his first checkpoint.
Yeah, Harry dies before he can earn the Sound Barrier. It'll be the self-destruct coming out. Not going to get anything with it for Seagull as FaZe Clan still on the payload. Seagull trying to stay alive here. It'll be Spree with a self-destruct of his own. Just throws into the sky. Here comes the Sound Barrier from Envy.
Surely not.
Effect takes out Shadowburn. Can Envy switch the fight in their favor?
Again, the stall from the 2 tanks was so good for EnVyUs. They're back onto the payload, but Effect falls far earlier than he should in that fight. Carpe now, like Carpe Victoria. He knows he has a goal, a victory to seize perhaps, and FaZe Clan managed to get the damage across the line. EnVyUs don't trickle in as well as they could have. The payload gets to that first checkpoint. But take note. Take note. 2 minutes, 15 seconds for one of the longest stretches on this particular map. FaZe Clan have bought themselves a reprieve a stay of execution, as you will, Matt, but there's much more to be done.
Oh, that got dangerous there. I thought when Effect and Seagull did a fantastic job of staying alive on the payload. Uses self-destruct inside Big Earls, gets back in the mech, stays alive long enough. EnVy, though, they invest a sound barrier into the fight. They don't take it. Shadowburn here, just trying to be sneaky behind enemy lines. Sees a bunch of the players from EnVy around the corner, gets the call. The payload advancing down here. Around the corner is FaZe Clan. They have their own sound barrier. They're going to get close to a Transcendence here. Finds Chips in the corner alone. This should be a kill. Shadowburn's able to get with relative ease.
Now, Shadowburn more than happy to dispense with the pleasantries and get right down to the dirty work. An important pick-off, and they're playing very passively and very defensively. Snowball this kind of thing. They've built up double support ultimates. EnVyUs, look, if the winds blow in their favor, they'll actually have 2 support ultimates to match that, so it might be a huge fight in front of this next door. But FaZe have so much to work with here. EnVyUs want to put a stop now, but they might just not be able to.
Yeah, Shadowburn's going to have a Blade. You're going to have both support ults. Primal Rage as well for FaZe Clan. A lot of good ultimates to use here. Oh! Knows exactly where the translocator is placed. As soon as he sees Taimu pops up, a dash right through him. You lose the EMP potentially at the beginning, and you're building up towards the EMP as Shadowburn still on the payload here. Doing some work as Genji. Going to go a little bit higher off the wall run. You did use your own Transcendence. Just keeps darting up here, maybe trying to force out the Transcendence on the side of EnVy, right? A lot of teams, you see Shadowburn dart into the sky. You think he's going to use that Dragon Blade. Maybe you can get Chips to invest that Trans.
Now, I guess Shadowburn's self-preservation instinct coming to the fore. They're opting not to go for the Dragon Blade, as he often does. He likes to save it for a rainy day. Again, pressure to Chips. He's forced to use the Transcendence really quite early here, but at least EnVyUs can now get themselves on towards the payload. Self-destruct. Seagull is chunked down quite heavily as a result. Harry Hook on the high ground. Guess what? Shadowburn's found a juicy target, but he's evaded him somehow. For a moment, at least, Harry Hook managed to get away from his pursuer, but Shadowburn will not be denied.
That's exactly what we were talking about. When Shadowburn darts up into the sky right above, that like little catwalk, that's when Chips immediately uses the Transcendence, assumes the blade's going to come down, just going to kind of swipe on through. Shadowburn.
Oh, there it is again!
When we spoke to McGravy, he was saying how good Carpe and Shadowburn are, like baiting tracers in and setting them up for those like insta-kills. You see it right there, but Shadowburn forces the Transcendence out from Chips, then comes back, knows there's no sound barrier, knows there's no Transcendence, uses the Blade there, gets good use of it.
All right, it's the Seagull switch over towards the Junkrat here. This is very interesting. We'll see if he can control this space effectively, because Chips is being pressured yet again. He goes down, Carpe is all over him like moss on a rock, and he really just has to accept the fact. In fact, dashing back. Now the FaZe boys starting to get a little bit of fire in their bellies. This is what we've been waiting to see. EnVyUs have nullified them for the most part throughout this series, but this is where you get yourself back in the game. Pulse bomb onto the wall, doesn't connect. Carpe forced to back out now. Needs to deal with the rest of EnVyUs, triggering out onto the point.
EnVy with no support ults. FaZe is going to have both. They're going to have the Transcendence, they're going to have sound barrier here. Taimu switches off the Sombra, he'll go over to 76, just trying to add a lot more damage to the equation. Coco does fall here on the Reinhardt, so that's going to be your solo tank, not going to have the shield to deal with any of the damage that FaZe is laying down.
FaZe now, this is making it look very comfortable for them. Transcendence in for Raucus over the fight. Seagull taken down by Spree, and Harry Hook, you can see him trying to leap high above the payload and stall. EnVy has been very good at stalling fights out. Coco, Reinhardt does not work too well here, especially when Carpe is running rampant as he is. Discord Org is going to make a short work of effect. FaZe Clan, welcome to the building.
Mitch, outside of the first point hold from EnVy, it's a very good attack from FaZe Clan. Thought once we got to the second point, they're going towards point B. They did a very good job, working the payload around the corner. They did a good job, forcing the support ults out from the side of EnVyUs. And there towards the later half of the game, you saw EnVy really didn't have an answer.
It's so funny, isn't it, how close you can be between almost getting full held and then breezing through the rest of the map. But that's the way momentum builds up and is, sort of produced in Overwatch. And Snowball is a real factor in this particular game. I do have to question, I know that we saw Coco go to a Reinhardt towards that last stage. It makes a lot of sense to use him on that inside the garage, I guess you could call it, that last phase where the semi-trailer is. The problem is that by the time he picked that, we actually already saw the payload push close to the cul-de-sac at the end. It was very easy for the entirety of FaZe to encircle Reinhardt, which is obviously not where you want to be.
Yeah, I mean, your teammates are so spread out. Like, what great use of the shield are you getting? Like, you're not really kind of walking them down, walking them back. So it didn't really get great use out of the Rhine towards the end. And it's something that Taimu talked about in the interview they did, talking about the FaZe Clan match. He's like, when you really put them down early, you can really just kind of stomp them, take advantage of it. He's like, the scary part is once they start to get rolling, once they start to get in a rhythm, especially with this Genji Tracer combination of Shadowburn and Carpe, you saw it right after they got that first point, you saw them run through the second one. We saw a lot of nice setups between Carpe and Shadowburn. So we'll see what EnVy decides to do on offense. Right now, you can see at the top of your screen, Coco with the Rhine, Seagull on Orisa, Effect as Doomfist, and then Taimu on Roadhog.
You're doing it again, Matt.
Don't know if that's what we'll see. Highly doubt it. We'll see Seagull most likely switch over to, I was going to say Pharah. Effect, won't play Tracer. So looks like they're going to go with Chip solo healing on Mercy. Harry will play the 76, and you'll have Seagull take up the responsibilities of playing Junkrat.
Okay, so timing Roadhog here again, a lot of pressure on towards this D.Va. The earlier they can pick off Spree, the much more effective someone like Seagull's going to be able to be, especially if FaZe make the mistake of trying to fight around big L's. They're going to be highly susceptible to a lot of damage being spread out. Time to dust off the hubris, the last vestiges of it for EnVyUs now, and get serious. Payload will sail forward. Harry Hook on that 76, which is something that we've known this team to be able to do. Is very effective. Of course, his aim is, famed around the world, actually. Been quite effective now. You can see Shadowburn dropping down a half. Having to back out a Carpe going down here. This is pretty dangerous stuff now. With a Roadhog, you can really snowball the fight if you get a man advantage.
You see the damage Seagull putting in over the top. They'll lose Spree as well. So you lose Carpe, you lose Spree. You earn yourself the EMP, but you gotta wait. You can't use it right away. You gotta wait till everybody comes back off the spawn, then maybe get the translocator over the top of the payload. Use the EMP. You see Seagull throwing a lot of just grenades down into these close chokes. Gonna put down a ton of damage as Taimu trying to stay out of the equation, right? If he gets hit with the EMP, can't use the hook, can't heal himself, gets connected with it though.
Oh, Raucous out, that's gonna hurt. He gets the EMP off, but Taimu was hoping to defend his supports actually, just to use the hook for some kind of peel. Finds Joemeister with a right click now. That's gonna be tough, especially with the problem being exacerbated with two players resurrected. Coco and Effect coming up for EnVyUs now, and they look hot to trot and tough to stop. So one D.Va inside big L's, and that was Spree. You know where you want to be caught out. It's the first checkpoint for EnVyUs, and now they're looking shades better than FaZe. 5 minutes on the clock.
The EMP comes through, they fight on the point, they get chips to come through, resurrect two players, they take the fight with relative ease. EnVy now, you have your Earthshatter, you have your Tac Visor, and what do you really have to block the Earthshatter with? I mean, you just have Fact Fiction's Winston Bubble, nothing else. In line of Coco potentially knocking down a few members here as Effect has used his pulse bomb, trying to pick up a kill early.
Yeah, Coco wants to catch one or both supports here from FaZe Clan. You're up against a Genji Tracer, so ooh, that's a bit nasty. Shadowburn again, combining nicely with Carpe to deal with Effect. Again, Effect has found himself on the receiving end of that combination a couple times already in this matchup.
See EnVy being back down here. Coco with the Rhine shield. You have Taimu. So another interesting point, right? You're playing the Roadhog into this D.Va and Winston combination. Roadhog excellent against both of those heroes. Oh, it'll be the Riptire from Seagull taking out Shadowburn. Shadowburn had used his Dragon Blade as now EnVy has a little bit of a spawner's advantage here. You may be able to move closer towards the payload. Can't really advance it a ton, but maybe create a little bit more space for yourself with some players coming off spawn.
FaZe are happy to spend 1 to 2 fights fighting so far forward there. And then if they get taken down, they've got a couple more opportunities to try and reinforce in setup. So good opening here. Worth bearing in mind that targets such as Seagull and Chips are really vulnerable, especially to any sort of dive. So FaZe Clan actually have a decent matchup in that regard, as long as they respect the power of the hook and don't get caught in a trap. Yeah, okay, I'm triggered too, don't worry. Carpe getting caught up in that one, but Seagull can't find a kill. The bubble was there to protect his Fact Fiction, doing his job and doing it well. That's going to be double the pulse bomb.
You gotta wonder if we see EnVy switch off of this comp. The dive from FaZe being very aggressive. Shadowburn literally has no HP. Somehow, he's still able to stay alive. Carpe takes out Taimu. Could not be any weaker there.
I wonder if he switches after that. I wonder if our good friend Taimu's been channeling the positive mental attitude. Yeah, he's gonna stand at Roadhog here. I wouldn't be surprised to see him switch off in frustration there, but he knows the role he's trying to achieve with this particular Roadhog pick. And with Whole Hog just around the corner, it's going to be very, very good to turn FaZe back to where they came from. But there it is, Harry drops already. EnVy getting picked off before the fight even starts. Shadowburn reflects Seagull's mind. What the heck? 2 kills with that.
I mean, EnVy may want to change, but you'd be giving up a ton of ults. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to take, lose the Tac Visor that you've built up towards, the Whole Hog as well. Then let's say you want to switch Chips off of the Mercy, you're going to lose the res. Going to kind of reset 3 ultimates here with 2 minutes and 30 to go. As you've allowed FaZe Clan, by the way, they haven't had to use any support ults here to get anything done, really, any ults at all.
First picks greater than ult advantage. That's the most important thing to keep an eye on here. Joemeister and Carpe with the half health up. Oh, that's a vertical hook. Nicely done. Fact Fiction caught before his feet even touched the ground. Taimu's able to sustain there through the nuclear fallout of the self-destruct, and EnVy come in with a 2-man advantage. Joemeister's going to be forced to use a sound barrier here if he's not careful, but he's not with his team. He's taken down with his ultimate. Envy are making some progress, and FaZe are banking up their ultimates for the last fight in this stage if it comes to it.
Envy's gonna hold on to the tac visor, they're gonna hold on to the res. FaZe Clan, they hold on to just about everything here. So Carpe had used a pulse bomb.
Good composure, really.
FaZe Clan gonna play for this next fight. This next fight would be huge if they're able to win it. The issue is do you want to invest, maybe one of the support ults in a blade for it just to get resurrected by chips? That's, I think, kind of what you're looking at. Like, if you can get chips early, then maybe you invest in kind of a blade, like win the fight, take it outright.
In the words of Diamond players around the world, kill the Mercy. That's what we have to do. Carpe drops the timer there. Riptire actually destroyed him in there. Seagull makes a quick exit, though. Stage wherever the heck I can. Riptire is taken down, of course, so no opportunity really to bust open FaZe Clan. It would have been a great chance to do that, especially the way the choke was designed that they were pushing through. But Effects found Spree after getting desuited, of course. And EnVyUs will go again.
EnVyUs does lose their solo support, though, in that fight, so you're going to have to get chips back. There's the rest of the team. You actually take out Raucus here. You'll take that trade if you're Envy, because he's the only one with a support ult. Now the blade's going to come out from Shadowburn. Just trying to slice up Taimu. It's a lot of HP to go through, though, as Shadowburn gets weak again. Taimu on the cart here, just trying to stay alive. Seagull will fall. This Effect trying to do some damage here with Taimu as well.
That was fantastic from Spree, by the way. That defense matrix to keep Shadowburn alive, despite being pressured by Seagull, was really impressive to watch.
So now you see Seagull switch off the Junkrat. He goes over to Pharah. So you'll have the Pharah Mercy combination. We'll see what Harry decides to do. Does he stay with 76? No, he goes over to Lucio. So this will be Envy's last attempt, potentially. We'll see if they can make anything happen. Earthshatter, Whole Hog, and Rez on the table. FaZe Clan is still held on to this Transcendence.
Well, Matt, the shoe is now on the other foot, and last check, I'm pretty sure FaZe Clan were up in the easy count. It's 10 seconds remaining, and EnVyUs have to get to this point. Seagull obviously switching over towards this Pharah here, takes Shadowman very low. That self-destruct, what a clever use of Concussive Blast to get himself out of trouble. Raucus goes down, Spree is also knocked to the ground. Perfect way for Coco, gives himself up as a sacrifice. But there's the res, Coco and Harry Hooker back in action. EnVyUs aren't done just yet. It's going to be one final swing in the hammer, and Effect helps him find Shadowburn. They're going to get the second checkpoint here. Again, not a moment too soon.
They're not going to have a ton of time, though, to complete the map. 1 minute and 20 seconds and counting. You used every ult you had there to get it done. See the res come in there from chips. Because now when we go back to game, you'll have Shadowburn with the blade, you have Carpe with a pulse bomb. You're going to build up towards the sound barrier as well. Be the pulse bomb that comes out from Carpe, you don't get anything with it, as FaZe putting a ton of pressure on Envy, trying to deny them access around the corner.
Yeah, FaZe putting themselves in between EnVyUs and the payload here, which puts them in a compromising position. It means they either win the fight or they get completely smashed and caught out of position. 2 for 2 though. Actually Spree getting desuited, so just the 1 for 2 at this stage, and they recover. Shadowburn comes back in, has himself a Dragon Blade for the next fight, and Taimu has stayed on this Roadhog pick throughout the entirety, pretty much of this attack, for better or for worse.
I mean, he's giving, obviously, a ton of ult generation to the other team, in terms of Shadowburn and Carpe, right? We saw Shadowburn last year, World Cup, a long time ago, but what did he do? He would just kind of, just build up his ult on these tanks, all the big HP targets, and then just kind of dart in, start taking them out. Taimu definitely the largest HP target here is Coco. Earns himself an Earthshatter. When does he decide to use it? Won't have a chance here. Shadowburn cuts right through him. See, Seagull now switches over to Zarya, so it's going to be the triple tank coming out for Envy. Doesn't matter, it's going to be Envy using a sound barrier here, trying to stay up, forcing the sound barrier out from the side of FaZe Clan. The blade being used from Shadowburn as well, only 6 seconds left. See if Envy can get back towards the point. Coco with the Earthshatter going to be forced to dart on in.
You can't stall with the Reinhardt, it's not possible. It's overtime, Chips comes in, it's a big res. Both tanks are back up on their feet. Now Raucus going to go for the Transcendence up on the payload here, and Coco needs to give him a bit of ground. Spree's gunning for him, he's low on health. The dash route from Shadowburn takes it low, and now the whole hog from Taimu. Mostly mitigated by the defense matrix, but he's able to get a bit of extra work done. It's the desuit on Spree. Shadowburn falls to a fire strike somehow from Coco. That's not a mistake you can afford to make at this stage of the game. Overtime is in effect, but EnVyUs are on the road.
Envy needs to be perfect throughout. It's going to be Effect close to a pulse bomb. Seagull working his way towards a grab. You had to use a big res there from Chips to make it happen. Chips switches off of the Mercy. He'll go over to Ana, gives him healing at range. Shadowburn getting close to a blade. Let's see, though, if Effect can land a big pulse bomb here. Coming over the top. Connects onto the head of Fact Fiction. Takes him out.
That's a home run for Effect, and there's still more work to be done, though. He's paved the way for EnVyUs to get an easy passage towards the gold box of victory. Self-destruct drops down there. So close, man. So close to the end of the map. Raucus in the back corner. Gets the bio grenade down. Oh, Shadowburn tries to go with the Dragon Blade, but he's knocked aside for Coco's hammer. He takes damage and and he's knocked away from his target of choice. That's perfect. Taimu, hook on towards Joemeister, gets the job done. Spree's just going to get lasered down by Nazaya. Nothing he can do to mitigate the damage. Ho-Hong, get off my payload, get off my lord, get off my map. EnVy are going to make it a real match. How you like them apples?
It's insane. I mean, FaZe on Anubis, right? Looks like they're at least going to get a draw effect, with the supports go crazy. Looks like this time, hey, we're going to get a hold. Maybe we take 66. EnVy just goes massive from point B all the way to the end of the map. They complete it in overtime, so it'll be EnVy with only a minute. FaZe, not much more, a minute and 4 seconds in their own time bank.
This is actually some of the... Okay, so this is a scenario that gives birth to some of the most exciting scenarios in Route 66. Purely because, honestly, it's very hard for attacking teams to make much progress, especially when you're playing in a time frame that doesn't allow you to accrue much ult percentage. It's good to pick heroes such as Sombra, for example, who can obviously get that online early on. It's about getting the ideal bang for buck with only 1 minute left. This is how it stands. EnVyUs have 1 minute to finish the map. They're going to attack first, or to get as far as they can. FaZe have 1 minute and 4 seconds.
What do you do if you're EnVy? It didn't seem like this kind of comp at the beginning of the game with Seagull and the Junkrat, and effect on the Tracer, and Taimu and the Roadhog worked. Looked a lot better, right, when they went over to the far Mercy. Then they had Seagull run the Zarya there towards the end of the game. Do you stick with Seagull and the Junkrat? Do you put him on the Zarya? Do you keep Taimu on the Roadhog? It looks like at least at the beginning. Okay.
We'll see how this one goes. Make some noise. This is where it gets real interesting, ladies and gentlemen. The Bastion, the President, has arrived.
I told you, you can't count anything out with EnVy.
Oh, I think
Okay.
Victor saw the Bastion.
He
got out of dodge real quick. It's not going to be enough, though. He gets completely gunned down, and Taimu is just the absolute picture of composure right now. It is another day at the office for him. Seagull's found Raucus, no chance of an early EMP. Shadowman thinks twice about trying to challenge this Bastion. And again, Taimu, it's like playing cello in a marching band. He's got to come forward, set up, get some damage, then move in towards recon mode, set up again, and so on and so forth. I don't know how FaZe is going to access him.
I mean, you have a lot of damage being put down by Seagull as well. Coco trying to protect his Bastion just a little bit. Taimu just free-firing around the corner, connects with one, so now you know that Carpe is trying to come on this flank. Carpe has to be so careful not to get chunked down here by the Bastion, as there comes the EMP coming in from Raucus, but just more damage being taken down from Taimu at range. Harry putting down a ton of damage as well. They're going to make this work.
There's nothing to be done. Spree can only just throw himself with the payload, and the Bastion has worked. EnVyUs going for something a little bit different, and we know we love a bit of El Presidente. EnVyUs soaking up the glory now. One giant step towards the conclusion of this series. FaZe must shake them off of this payload, and they must do it now.
This is bad. This is not good for FaZe. You see the Bastion now on the payload for EnVy. You're gonna get the damage boost here on the Seagull, potentially putting down some more damage. As Seagull now builds up towards a Riptire. You're gonna have Harry getting close to attack visor. Chip's going to get the res as well. FaZe Clan, Raucus used the EMP. He's not gonna be close to a Transcendence. It's gonna be Seagull takes out Carpe. He's gonna use the Riptire here as well. Gonna go high off the wall.
What on earth?
Searching for some players here.
Oh,
Going for the supports.
That's gonna be it. It's a slam dunk with the Pulse Bomber. Guess who's in tank mode? It's Taimu. Over the payload here, and maybe the ultimate didn't even need to be used here, but any extra ground that EnVyUs are making at this stage of the game is just a bonus.
It's a ton of progress.
The Resurrect is there, the Earthshatter is there. They've got these shotgun or ultimates coming online that are really going to allow them to remove FaZe Clan from the situation. That may be the first kill from FaZe in this stretch of the map. Effect has dropped.
It's going to be Harry Hook taking out Raucus. Raucus actually behind enemy lines by the Mega Health Pack. Taimu is taking out Fact Fiction. There's going to be an Earthshatter. Coco connect with anything. It looks like he's going to dive back. No, potentially, I was going to say, potentially try and shield his Bastion as Taimu gets hit with a Pulse Bomb. Taken out, Bren right back into the fight, though. That's when Chip's going to use the res. It's going to be the Dragon Blade that comes out from Shadowburn. He's able to get one. Coco takes out Joemeister as EnVy is still advancing the payload here.
There's an overemphasis on the back line, and EnVyUs have taken yet another point this entire round. Rawhide, since that second checkpoint at least, has been in overtime. So they're just pushing all the way through. They've not been shaken off the payload yet. FaZe have to overcommit to this backline to try and get these threats out of the way. Now you're getting frustrated. Now you're getting jittery. This is where they must use these ultimates. They finally accrued a decent amount of ultimates, but they got a support ultimate even. That's great. They're gonna have to use it well.
They're gonna lead the way with the sound barrier. It's gonna be Taimu though, getting set up here, trying to heal himself. He eventually will fall. So they do deal with Taimu. Seagull will fall as well. There comes the Transcendence. Finally, FaZe stops Envy, not before they take point A and B, using a triple DPS setup of Seagull on the Junkrat, Taimu on the Bastion, and Harry Hook on the 76.
I've never seen a gauntlet thrown in this particular way in Overwatch in a map of this gravity, to be honest. That's a statement, to say the very least.
This is a grand final. It's not like a semi-final, first round matchup. Like, let's just pull that out now. It's impressive from Envy.
And again, it is a variation. It's something we haven't seen from them, and thank God for that. But, you know, in moderation, it definitely can have a big impact. So now for FaZe, it's kind of a nightmare for you. You need to try and... We know that FaZe is a team that wants to play their style. They're like their comfort picks. They don't really enjoy throwing these weird picks in their opponent's face. That's exactly how Envy just orchestrated a ridiculous overtime push. That's not how FaZe are wired up. That's not how it works. But I've got to do it. They've got to try anyway. They need 2 more checkpoints, or it's going to be the 4-0 to EnVyUs.
And it's got to be so defeating for FaZe Clan, because now you come into this second side, right? I know you have a minute, 4 seconds. You know how much progress you need to make. You know how large of a mountain it is going to be to climb. Envy really, what, you get 1 good hold in your favor, and that's about it. You go home with another championship. We'll see Taimu. He will play the Sombra effect on the Tracer. Seagull will pick up Diva responsibilities yet again on the defensive side. You won't see a Tracer here from FaZe Clan. You'll see Carpe run the McCree.
Right, so the onus is on FaZe Clan to locate these weaker targets on the side of EnVyUs, these DPSs, these supports, because they're going to be pretty tricky to dig out, like I said earlier on. So Carpe on the McCree here, so this is good response as well to a diving defense from EnVyUs. So they try and throw Coco into the mix. A quick flash can really make short work of that Winston. And again, Carpe wants to sit back, give a lot of ground. No, we don't make it here, I might add. Didn't work out last time. He's learned his lesson.
Yeah, Taimu can keep contesting the cart here as Sombra, just kind of impede the progress, keep getting onto it. See already 30 seconds left for FaZe Clan. They're so worried about players potentially being behind him. Shadowburn gonna get dangerously low. Needs to get out with his life. But now you see Taimu getting closer and closer towards an EMP.
Seconds.
They may come with the EMP over the top and then the big push.
10 seconds now. Oh, it's getting a little bit tight. No, the EMP! Raucus just evaporates into thin air. It's like it never existed. Taimu's able to get 3 out of his suit, and that's it. The timing is so good. EnVyUs looks to take this one away now. Spree desperately blasting away with the pink pistol, but I really don't see it doing the job right now. Seagull puts him in a cone of silence. He actually gets resuited here, but Coco's joined the fight. FaZe, this is where they leave everything out on the field. Everything they've got left in the tank now needs to be put to its fullest use. Discord Orb's going to force Coco away. You can see how low he is on the screen. Seagull's actually the only player for EnVyUs right now to really be on payload duty. They're going to disengage. They've done this before. They can wait for the rest of the team to regroup. Taimu coming forward though, rather aggressively. He's very close to another EMP. That could be the death sentence.
It's going to be both support ults for Envy. The sound barrier comes out for FaZe Clan. They do have the Dragon Blade. It'll be Coco falling here. Taimu going to get the EMP here. He's going to use it. Let's see if Envy, they combine it with the sound barrier. Let's see if they can win the fight.
That looks like this might do the job, Shadowburn. It's got to be a Dragon Blade, but he doesn't even get a chance to use it. In fact, takes him down before he gets the opportunity. Now the Discord Orb on Fact Fiction. It's all well and good that he's big and red and angry, but he's going to get cut down very quickly. And you can see him. Attempts to access the payload. Harry Hook getting it done. Overtime is done. The Kings have returned to their throne. The Seagull is home to roost. And EnVyUs getting themselves that title. It's been a big year for this team and lots of expectations of the West's finest Overwatch team. Taimu saying deal with it, the aviators are on, he's cool, calm, collected. Your Season 1 champions of the Overwatch Contenders for North America is Team EnVyUs.
There are a ton of questions coming in when they picked up Seagull. Is he actually going to play? What are they going to do with him? He made a big impact this weekend. He's able to bring in some nice Pharah play. We saw the Junkrat here on Route 66, some Zarya, Diva play on the defensive end. And it's just the beginning for Seagull on this EnVyUs roster. So many different things he brings to the table that they can throw at opponents now.
And we've talked about it. How do you deal with this playstyle? This is, dare I say, revolutionary, because there's so many opportunities in Overwatch in the past to use subs. We've seen it used in Korea so often. But when you add a player like Seagull into this roster, you can see the immediate and profound impact it has on the team's ability to change the way they play and to keep their enemies on their toes. It's time now to get a few words from the man and men of the moment. It's Bren down on stage with EnVyUs.
EnVyUs, you guys have played incredibly this entire tournament. 6 weeks of groups have led up to the playoffs now here, and you take it in a dominant fashion. I gotta say, how are you guys feeling now off the back of that, this 4-0 victory?
We feel really good. That was a really hard-fought match. I think like the last 2 maps were really close, even though like we won 4-0, but everybody's feeling good.
Mickey, I want to speak to you. The shining beacon of light in EnVyUs, always happy, always smiling. I gotta say, right, what was going on with the Bastion strat? Why the Bastion pick?
Oh, I didn't play the last map, so so I cannot answer that question. But it's a secret weapon. That's why we have the Seagull in our roster.
All right, you guys are fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for EnVyUs one more time, please.
Thank you so much, Brennan. A massive congratulations to Team EnVyUs. They go